If you're selling print on demand on Amazon and your sponsored product ads feel inconsistent, the problem probably isn't your design. It could be your campaign structure. So whether you're selling print on demand through Amazon Seller Central or uploading t-shirts through merch, this probably applies to you if you're running Amazon ads. And it's especially important if you haven't been optimizing them intentionally, which I know a lot of you guys probably launch ads and then have a tendency not to check back in for weeks or even months at a time. In this video, I'm gonna show you the exact weekly system that I use to optimize my sponsored product campaigns for print on demand products so you know exactly what to adjust and why. Let's start with automatic campaigns first. For print on demand sellers, automatic campaigns are extremely useful because Amazon's system will connect your design to real customer search behavior. It's especially helpful in niches like trends, seasonal niches, or even political niches where search patterns can shift quickly. But here's the mistake most sellers make. They turn on their auto campaigns, then they don't review the data. And I think of it like running an auto campaign, I'm basically buying the data from Amazon, letting it do the dirty work for me. So what I do is every single week, I open the search term report and I'm looking mainly for two things. First, what search terms are converting? And second, which search terms are spending money but not producing sales? Obviously, I don't want to waste money. If I find a converting term, something like, I don't know, funny fishing shirt for dad, something really specific, I'll often move it into a manual campaign as an exact match. That gives me more control over the bid and the placement. Then I'll take the same term and add it as a negative match inside the auto campaign. That prevents overlap and keeps auto focused on discovery instead of competing with my manual campaigns. If I see irrelevant traffic like broad phrases like t-shirt or generic gift terms that aren't converting, I'll also move those to the negative match to reduce wasted ad spend. For print on demand sellers especially, this step alone can clean up a lot of unnecessary ad spend. And we all know our bottom line, margins are usually tight, so we want to do everything we can to protect them. Launching an automatic ad campaign is simple. Go into your Amazon Ads console and launch a sponsored products campaign. At the top, you can set up an ad group. From there, you can set up what sites you want your ads to appear on, Amazon and beyond, or Amazon Business. Underneath there, it'll import all the products from your merch account or your KDP account or your Seller Central account, whichever account you are logged into in your Amazon Ads campaign. So you can go ahead and add as many products as you want right here. You can either have them imported and use the search function, or you can go to the enter list and copy paste a list of ASINs, or you have the ability to also upload a CSV list of your product IDs. After that, targeting. This is defaulted to automatic campaign or automatic targeting, and that's going to be at the campaign level. So if you leave that on automatic targeting, that means every ad group in this campaign is going to use automatic targeting. You cannot mix manual with automatic in the same campaign. So that's worth noting. As a result, when I'm naming the campaign, I usually use a prefix of either auto or manual. That way I know in the future what type it is. So let's leave it on automatic. Now you can set a bid for your targeting. The default is 75 cents. Depending on what product you're selling, that may be too high, it may be too low, right? If you're selling Amazon merch t-shirts, it might be a little bit on the high side, but depending on your niche, it may be justifiable to bid 75 cents. It really comes down to what it is that you're selling, both product type and niche. You guessed it. Underneath there, we have the ability to add negative keywords. I mentioned this can be very useful in curbing your ad spend, and we're going to talk more about that in a second. And you can actually do negative product targeting as well. You can exclude both brands and products. Here you can set up your bidding strategy. You have dynamic bids up and down. This is what Amazon defaults to because they recommend it. In terms of performance, that's what's delivered the best performance in the past. You can do dynamic bids down only, which you could say that maybe that will protect your budgets, but at the same time too, if Amazon's going to use the up function in terms of the dynamic bids up and down, it's only up to a maximum 100%, which is a doubling. And if you read the little tidbit above there, it says campaigns using dynamic bids up and down delivered 1.8x more sales at a 4% lower ROAS or return on ad spend compared to campaigns using dynamic bids down only. And that was from Amazon internal data from 2022. So it's probably, again, if they default to it, guys, you can usually trust it in my experience. The third option is fixed bids, where it's never going to be any different than what data you provide. I think typically if somebody's doing fixed bids, they're probably using a third-party solution, like a third-party software that integrates with Amazon Ads via API. So it's not relevant to this video. That's just my general experience, by the way. Down here, you can set up additional bid adjustments. By the way, like these last two boxes under campaign, they're optional. This is feeling overwhelming, like maybe you've never set up an ad campaign before. You can also scroll right past this. I just wanted to make sure that was clear. But as you get more comfortable in this ecosystem, you may find it enticing to spend more time with these. So under bid adjustments, you can essentially dynamically let Amazon bid more for you based on where you're going to show up in search. Obviously, the most valuable place to show up is at the very top of search results. That's where you get lion's share of the clicks, right? Because that's where you get the most eyeballs. So you could do something like this. You could type in 100%, which is like saying, hey, Amazon, you can literally double my bid if it's going to show up at the top of search results, which is the, prime real estate, basically, in the sponsored sections, obviously. You can set up a different amount for the rest of search, and you can also set a percentage for product pages. And we're going to talk about that as well in this video. And as you dynamically enter them, you can see the math, and that's all based on, again, up here where we left the default bid at 75 cents. So if you change the 75-cent bid, it'll also dynamically recalculate these for you. Again, don't feel overwhelmed by this. You can also just leave them all at 0 and just roll with kind of the default setup as well. But as you spend more time and get more comfortable, I wanted you to know how these worked. You also have the ability to adjust bids based on the audience. Again, another more advanced metric here when it comes to setting up sponsored ad campaigns. And by the way, this works both for automatic campaigns and manual campaigns. Last, under settings, you can name your campaign. Again, I'm usually, if it's auto, gonna at least do a prefix like auto dash and then whatever product or niche it is. Start date, I usually leave it as today and then no end date, typically, unless it's like for, I don't know, specific purposes, specific holidays, etc. Like maybe if you wanted to set up holiday specific campaigns, that's something you maybe did in the past, but now you can actually have it dynamically increase your bids and your budget during those peak seasons for web traffic to the Amazon website, like in the fourth quarter, etc. So you don't even need to do that anymore. Here you can set your daily budget. Again, set with whatever you're comfortable. You could start with something low, like $5 a day, and it will gradually email you suggestions like, hey, we recommend increasing your daily budget to this amount based on the performance you've been seeing. Or they might even say to decrease it, right? Like it's gonna give you feedback and help you optimize these campaigns. So do whatever you're comfortable with is what I'd recommend if you're a beginner. And if you're not a beginner, well, then you've already heard this before and you probably don't need to hear me say it. You get to also, this is relatively new, launch your campaigns in additional countries. Now, this only makes sense if you're actually listing your products available for sale in those countries. For instance, when I push products to my Amazon SellerCentral.com, which is the US market account, it automatically pushes them to both Canada and Mexico for me. And because I use, Printful and Printify, I can easily get my products fulfilled there. So it's no worries. So I might consider having these pushed to those additional countries as well. The only thing is you're going to have to deal with the conversion rates there, but you can see Amazon actually converts it for you underneath. So because I put in $5, it's giving me the conversion rate for Canadian dollars and Mexican pesos. But you have also the ability to push to the United Kingdom, France, Italy, and Spain currently. There's also the ability to do like automated tasks to optimize your performance. Again, I think for most people watching this, probably not going to be super relevant, but remember how earlier I mentioned that you can essentially, instead of having to create a separate campaign specifically for the fourth quarter, where maybe you increase your bids and increase your campaign budget, and then you would have it essentially expire at the end of the fourth quarter because web traffic dies down. It's something that either you've dealt with before or you haven't. And if you've never seen it before, it probably doesn't make sense. But anyways, you can basically set those up here. So you can already see as an example, it's telling me a new rule and telling me that I can increase bids by 50% around Easter. Just as an example, in case I'm selling Easter specific products, you can bet that the bid that are required in order to get visibility at peak season are going to be higher than they would be outside of peak season. So you can dynamically have this adjustment pre-programmed into the campaign, if that makes sense. That's just an example of these automated task rules. When you're ready, go ahead and click launch campaign and it'll be live within an hour or so. You'll start to see your ads served, although you might not get the data until 12 to 24 hours later. So when you come to your campaign dashboard in your ads console, the data does take some time to propagate. Now let's talk about manual campaigns, or I call it my bread and butter. Manual campaigns give you control. You choose the keywords, you choose the match type, you choose the bid. And for print on demand, match type matters a lot. I separate match types intentionally. Broad match is for controlled discovery. It's the widest net that we cast. Phrase and exact match are for efficiency. With t-shirts and niche designs, exact match often performs better because buyers tend to search very specific phrases, especially if you've got text in the design. That should be one of the phrases. Something like sarcastic cat mom shirt is very different from cat shirt. And then each week I review my keyword performance, and my goal is to sort them into 3 different buckets. They're either a winner, they're either on the watch list, or they're on the cut list. If a keyword is converting consistently, I'll probably increase the bid slightly. And if it's spending without results, I might reduce the bid or pause it. The goal isn't dramatic changes. It's small adjustments based on performance. That's what keeps the campaign stable. When it comes to setting up manual campaigns, it's very similar to what I showed you for automatic campaigns. So I'm going to come to the ads console, click create a sponsored product campaign. What we're going to do differently is scroll down here to targeting and set it to manual targeting. Then you have the option to do either keyword targeting or product targeting. And we'll circle back to the second option. With keyword targeting selected, I'm going to scroll down and now I have the ability, number one, actually, if you add your products, which I'm skipping over for this tutorial because I like to keep my products private, and not put it all out there on YouTube, but it automatically pulls in your products right here, like I mentioned before, or you can enter a list of of ASINs. When you do that, it'll suggest keywords based on what products you added right here. So they make it real easy to get suggested keywords, and they have suggested bids based on current Amazon bidding data. So it's really an easy system to implement. Now, what I wanted to mention is I like to split the keywords that I add based on match type. So you can see I've got broad, phrase, and exact right there. Typically, I'm only gonna add one match type at a time, and typically I'm going to bid the most for exact, I'm gonna bid the second most for phrase, I'm gonna bid the least for broad. Now, when I set up my bids, first I need to make sure that next to the bid section, I change suggested bid to custom bid, all right? And then what I'll end up doing is essentially set up my bid. So if I'm doing broad match for Amazon merch t-shirts, I might come in low at like 11 cents and then enter my list, and all of my keywords will essentially just be copy pasted right here as broad match, 11 cents, add keywords. Then I might add my next set of keywords. I'll turn off broad match, I'll set it to phrase match, maybe I up that to like 18 cents, add them, and then they'll all show up on the right-hand side here. And last, I might go from phrase to exact, and I'll up this to like 25 cents. Exact is where you're gonna usually drive the highest conversions, assuming you're providing relevant keywords. And if you're moving these over from an automatic campaign, like I suggested, you've already seen them prove their relevance, so you can justify the additional ad spend. Now, here's the part most print-on-demand sellers overlook: product targeting. Instead of only targeting search results, you can target specific product detail pages. That means if someone's looking at another, I don't know, funny nurse shirt or another patriotic design in your niche, your product can appear directly on that competitor's product listing. This works well in saturated niches where customers are comparison shopping because they've got a ton of options. So now your structure, your evolved structure, might look something like this: automatic campaigns for discovery, manual keyword campaigns for control, and product targeting campaigns for precision. Each campaign has a clear role, and when campaigns have clear roles, optimization becomes a lot simpler. And this is a quick how-to when it comes to manual campaigns for product targeting. So go to your ads console, under sponsored products, click create campaign, scroll down here, make sure targeting is set to manual, and then under manual targeting, select product targeting. Now, it is going to be exactly what it sounds like. You can either target entire categories together, or you can click here and target individual products. For example, if I'm selling a coffee mug or a print-on-demand product related to bus drivers, right? It's a gift for bus drivers. I might want to find this mug that's got 103 reviews, so it's selling really well. I might then grab the ASIN from the URL, or you can scroll down and usually find it down here in the middle of the page under item details. Where's the ASIN? Right here. See how I did that? Then I can pull it back over into my manual ad campaign. I can go ahead and click enter list. I can then paste the ASIN and click target. Okay, now it doesn't have a suggested bid associated with this specific product detail page, so I get to choose a bid. I like to come in on the low end, and then I can check back in later and see if it's driving any impressions. If it is, that's good. If it's not, I probably need to increase my bid. So I'll probably come in at like 25 cents and adjust it accordingly in the future. Let's recap the full weekly optimization system. Step 1, open the search term report. You'd be surprised how few people do this. Step 2, move converting search terms into a manual campaign with exact match. Step 3, add negatives to clean up wasted ad spend. Step 4, adjust bids based on winners, watch list, and cuts. You might be adjusting them up or down. Step 5, review again next week, and don't skip step 5. That's it. Optimization is not a one-time tweak. It's a repeatable weekly habit. I've used this structured approach across thousands of print-on-demand campaigns over time. When you separate discovery from control and use product targeting intentionally, performance becomes easier to manage and a lot more predictable. But you have to do it the right way. You have to do it clean. You stop guessing. You stop blending everything together into one giant campaign, which I know some of you guys watching this probably do. And you start making small, informed decisions on a weekly basis. That shifting clarity is what really improves sponsored products performance. Implementing what you saw in this tutorial should drive additional traffic to your Amazon merch listings while keeping the ACoS manageable. Before you leave, learn more about Amazon ads and get the full how-to guide, and start building your own sponsored product optimization system using the link below. And I'll see you at the next one.